Hey guys, good afternoon. It's Angelo, Christian Financial. Thank you so much for watching our podcast, Real Estate Insider. We've been actively lending in America for over 20 years. It's where America goes for funding. Remember, we're a nationwide commercial and residential lender. Call or text me at 832-431-6331. We'd love to hear from you and help you with any type of mortgage funding questions that you have. Today, we're talking about a very important topic. It comes up all the time. We're an active lender. We deal with customers all over the country, from multi-rich investors to first-time buyer millennials. And one of the biggest things that always comes up is a cosigner. Angelo, how does it work to get a cosigner mortgage? What is a cosigner mortgage? What does that mean? What are the implications? What are the benefits? What are the consequences of doing this? So I'm going to break it down today, because a cosigner, on the one hand, can be very good to help you to boost your purchasing power. But on the other side, there's also requirements and consequences for getting a cosigner. Okay? It's important that you know what those are, because technically you can use a cosigner for FHA, you can use a cosigner for USDA, you can use a cosigner for conventional, you can use a cosigner or partnerships for commercial deals. The only one that you really can't use a cosigner for is VA. So if you're trying to do any of these type of transactions, purchases or refinances, you can add a cosigner onto these type of loans. Like I said, they can be very good. I've helped several people all over the country to get a loan with a cosigner mortgage. It's just understanding how it works. So basically, the process is that first thing you have to find out if the cosigner is going to be living in the home with you or not. So is it non-occupant versus occupant? So because if the cosigner is going to live in the home with you, then the new mortgage that you have will, their housing expense will also be your housing expense, and it'll be shared. But if they are not occupying with you, then like I put right here, if they're not going to occupy with you, their rent or their debt obligation for their mortgage has to be factored into the debt ratio. The purpose of adding a cosigner is to take their income and their credit to boost your purchasing power. So for example, let's just say that, you qualify for a $200,000 loan. That's how much you qualify for. You make $50,000 a year. Okay, but you want a $400,000 home. Okay, and I get it, guys. I deal with people in California, Hawaii, New York. It's very hard to find a house for $200,000. Wages aren't rising, but cost of homes are. Okay, I don't make the rules here. It's America. It's politics and stuff like that. But what I can tell you, this is a reality, that people qualify for X, but they want Y, right? They want the higher price. So the cosigner's income, if he makes $80,000 a year, that will get you to $400,000, right? But you have to also realize that cosigner, we have to verify their income, we have to verify their credit. That mortgage that we take out reports on your cosigner's credit too. Not just your credit, it goes on their credit too. So if you miss a payment, it will affect their credit score. Okay, they have to go to signing with you, sign the title documents. It will report on their credit. So you have to make sure that whoever you're using, whether it's a family member or non-family member, that you completely trust them and that they trust you, because they're using their name on the line to help you get what you want. If you're trying to get to a $400,000 price and they're using their income and their credit, you got to make sure that you're making that payment on time, because it's their name on the line too. So the other thing is that some of these programs, like for example, FHA, to even use a cosigner, there has to be some type of relation. You just can't get anybody off the street to be a cosigner. It has to be usually a family member, right? Because the underwriter is not going to accept if you just go and get anybody, hey, will you be a cosigner for my coworker? Because there's no arm's length transaction continuity of what's the connection between the buyer and the cosigner, right? So it has to be generally speaking, somebody that is related to you, an uncle, a brother, a sister, a mom, a dad. Just some friend that you met's not going to work usually for using a cosigner. But the idea behind it is to lower, obviously what you're doing here, we're boosting your purchasing power, because now the combined income is $130,000 versus $50,000 in income. So that enables you to boost how much you can qualify for. And the biggest thing to realize, it does report to everybody's credit. And there are consequences, because if you don't make the mortgage payment on time or the property goes into foreclosure, that will show up on your cosigner's credit too. Also, if you're a first-time buyer and you're using a cosigner, that will affect your first-time buyer status, because now your cosigner has a mortgage on their name, even though they're not, it's not their primary residence. Because they have a mortgage on their name, they're not going to be able to qualify for first-time buyers because they have a mortgage in their name. So keep that in mind. You will not qualify post-closing for first-time buyer. Okay? Because you already have a mortgage in your name. So, and remember, the idea behind using a cosigner, and the way that I like to look at it, is using it as a bridge or a catalyst to help you to get to that point. But the concern that the cosigner always has is, hey, Angelo, how do I get off this thing, later on in the future? Because you don't have to stay on this loan forever. Okay? So the idea behind it is, that at some point, that you would refinance and then remove the cosigner. So that's the idea behind it. Hey, let's refinance, and then we can remove the cosigner off the loan, right? So ultimately, what you get to at some point here is a refi to remove cosigner, okay? Because it's not fair to the cosigner. And again, I'm not saying that in every situation it's like that, but most of the time the cosigner doesn't want to stay on the loan forever. He wants to be removed. So we would use the cosigner loan as a bridge to get you to qualify for the house, but later on peel off the cosigner by doing a refinance. So we need to boost your income or credit to qualify on your own. Okay? At some point, a year down the road, 2 years down the road, 3 years down the road, we take mom off the loan. Hey, my credit's high enough now, my income's high enough now, she helped me, and then that mortgage will come off of their credit, your cosigner's credit, and they'll be relieved. Okay? And so, it works great as a catalyst or a bridge to help you to purchase the house that you want. Maybe the cosigner wants to stay with you on the loan. That's up to you guys. I'm just telling you solutions, because the biggest concern I always hear from the cosigner is, well, hey, I need to be taken off of this thing at some point. You just can't be just taken off. Okay, you have to do a refinance or sell the property to get that off of your credit. So it's not like there's not a loan program out there that says, well, after a year you just come off the loan. It doesn't work like that. You have to refinance, or you have to sell the property to be taken off of the loan. So they work very good. I have nothing against the cosigner mortgage, as long as you guys know that are getting into it. What are the legal liabilities, the expectations, the loan performance, the requirements of the loan? Because all of them are different. And remember with VA, you can't use a cosigner, but conventional FHA, USDA, and jumbo, and commercial loans you can, but there are requirements. The other thing is that these loans are usually not assumable, so the loan can't just be passed on to the cosigner later on. If you say, hey, I don't want to live in the house anymore, well, you assume the mortgage. A lot of loans today are not assumable. So keep that in mind. So anyway, I hope this was a great episode for you guys. We want to educate you on there, because a cosigner mortgage can be a great thing. It can be very powerful, but you have to understand the rules and requirements. And we can help you with any type of loan funding. Call or text me directly at 832-431-6331. We'd love to hear from you. There's also a link in the YouTube description. You actually can click on the link to get signed up, to get pre-approved, to be able to purchase your home. So you can click on that or give us a call. We'd love to help you in any capacity. And please check out my next video, everyone. Thank you so much.